Yeah, hey guys, this is my first video I'm putting on YouTube, just posting about my journey so far of antidepressants, of SSRI and antidepressants. I first went back on Selexia, or citalopram as they call it, back I think it was back in 2004, 2005. So I went on the drug. First of all, I'd just been through a few things in my life and a few tough things to go through, and was a bit down the dumps, and couldn't control my thoughts, couldn't control my emotions, and the antidepressants were the magical solution. You know, that's what I was told back then. We went to see a doctor, and you know, the first thing he sort of did was recommend I go on the drug. You know, there was no recommendation of how long I should stay on the drug for. You know, even though we know that depression and anxiety, you know, quite possibly comes in 6 to 12 month gaps. There's no talk of that. There's a little bit of talk about the suicidality and the possibility of having suicidal thoughts while on the drug, but that was it. There was nothing concerning, as we now know, all the horrible side effects that when you're on these drugs long term that you become accustomed to. So we're talking akathisia, we're talking brain zaps, you know, we're talking, you know, horrible headaches, we're talking horrible anxiety, you know, internal tremors, chronic fatigue, you know, bizarre nightmares and dreams. None of these things were mentioned to me back then. So I bit the bullet, and I took these drugs. I started taking them, and you know, I could, within 2 or 3 weeks, I could notice the change straight away. Just in my thoughts had become numb, had become a lot less ruminating, and my confidence seemed to pick up. You know, I just wish I knew. I wish I knew back then. You know, what a dark hole, what a dark and miserable grave I was digging for myself. You know, during these videos, guys, I'm just going to make myself very real. What I say, it's not you know, pre-planned or whatever. It's just going to come from here, and I just want to be as true as possible with you guys, and to anyone around the world who watches these videos who may be in the same predicament, that's wanting to come off these drugs and is finding it fucking hard to come off. Long story short, I was on citalopram for 9 years, I think. For about 9 years, so from the age of 18 to 27. I was on 40 milligrams, so it was quite a high dose. It's hard to say, but for me, I felt like, you know, I felt a little bit fatigued, a little bit tired, but apart from that, I seemed to be okay. I seem to, obviously, you know, we know what's happening. There's an increase of serotonin in the brain. You know, it's not being reuptaken through the synapses, so there's a surplus of serotonin. What's that doing long term? We now know it's a lot of bad stuff, but you know, I thought I was getting better. But I wasn't. You know, during that nine years, I did a lot of things. I did a lot of travel and did some study and that, but never really felt myself. So yeah, would have been back in 2014. Again, I had a few hard times in life. You know, life's unpredictable. Shit happens, you know, and you know, things happen very fast in life. And I went to a bit of a dark hole again, depression, and the citalopram sort of pooped out. It just wasn't working anymore. It just wasn't effective. My mind was running overtime. My anxiety was so high, so sky high. It was crazy. It was just having a lot of panic attacks, and couldn't think at all. I couldn't concentrate. I couldn't sleep. I wasn't sleeping well, and we went and saw a shrink, a psychiatrist, and the first thing he did was recommend I went on Effexa. So this was back in 2014. We went and saw a quack, went and saw a doctor, and he read the script, gave me a bottle of Xanax, was it lorazepam, a benzo, and just said, take these if ever you need to. No mention of being addicted to these drugs within 2 weeks, which you can be, and these drugs are, as we know, notoriously hard to come off as well. Luckily, I didn't take very much. I only took the benzos when I needed to, during panic attacks, and I still got a bottle in the house now that I had from 6 years ago. So, I managed to push through as well as I could do without taking them, because I knew I knew they weren't good. So that was that. I was on the Effexa, and the transfer to Effexa, it was quite smooth, to be honest with you. Sometimes going from antidepressant to antidepressant, your body can't cope. Obviously, it's a different chemical that you're introducing to the brain cells. It's a different chemical, different mechanism, being a SNRI. So the Effexa deals with the noradrenaline channels as well within the brain. So I continued to take this drug for 3 years. Same thing again. Just didn't feel myself really. Just felt like my soul had just gone. I was coping. Pushing along it. I was studying at uni at the time, and it was okay. It was okay. But yeah, I just didn't have the energy. I just didn't have the zest for life that I knew that existed if I came off these drugs, which I'd been talking about for a long time, but we just didn't come. I just couldn't bring myself to do it. Wasn't the right place, wasn't the right time. I travelled a lot in my 20s. I was never stable. So back in 2017, things got really bad. I started developing these internal tremors within my chest, and I still get them now today. I think it could just be from the amount of adrenaline in my body, the cortisol, and the stress of studying full time as well. And I originally thought it was anxiety, but what I now know is akathisia, which I was never again told by the medical establishment. And I tried to come off them. I tried to come off these drugs. The advice that I got from the doctors, the GPs, was come off in 4 weeks. So that's a 25% drop a week after 12 years of being on these mind-altering drugs, which are considered harder to come off than heroin. Come off in 4 weeks, they said. I saw a few more people. I saw some anxiety guy in the city. I'm speaking out of Auckland, New Zealand here, but some anxiety guy, and he was absolutely an idiot. He told me to come off cold turkey. Cold turkey after 12 fucking years. So what I did, I listened to the doctor's advice. I took it over the cold turkey, thank God, because I wouldn't be here if I did follow his advice. And I came off after 5 weeks. And what I can tell you guys, if you've been on these drugs long term, please don't do that. Please don't do that, okay? I went through hell. It's called protracted withdrawal, what I now know. And it's, you're feeding a chemical, a strong, very strong drug to the body for 12 years, which is, crossing the brain-blood barrier and reshaping a lot of neuronal structures in your brain. when you do something like that so fast, it just puts your body in complete shock. And my brain, my body was just in complete shock for 9 months. I lasted 9 months, and I had to take the drug after 9 months to restabilize my nervous system and body. If you want to see what this is like, guys, I'm going to do another video on cold turkey withdrawal. I'll do another video as soon as possible, but fuck me dead. You know, please don't do that. Please don't do it. If you want to see what it's like, there's a movie called Numb. It's a documentary made by, I think it's American or Canadian, and you'll see exactly what I went through and what, you know, thousands of people go through, tens of thousands, every year coming off these drugs too fast. So yeah, and I waited 9 months just hoping, you know, knock on wood, that these symptoms were going to disappear, but I just couldn't handle it anymore. I was suicidal, I was suffering severely, so I went back on the drug. So I split it in half. I was on 75 milligram of Effexor, of venlafaxine, and I took 37.5. So I reintroduced half the drug back into my body. Within about a week or two, all the symptoms had gone. So the mind was slower, you know, the brain zaps had calmed down, and the body was just screaming for the drug, just screaming for it. So I had to take it again. So just to restabilize and just reestablish some equilibrium again in my body. You know, obviously what I'd done had failed. So that was back in 2017, 2020 now. I'll carry on my story, but you know, I'm 32% off Effexor now, but I'll get to that later. I decided to start taking out granules of Effexor. This is probably back in 2018, but when you take out granules of Effexor, in every capsule, there's either 200, I think it's 128 and the 37.5, and the 75, I think it's 256 or something. I'm not 100% sure, but they differentiate. These little balls differentiate in size as well, and numbers per capsule. So I started doing this, but it just wasn't accurate enough, and again, my brain and body just couldn't handle it. So I just continued to take the 37.5 again, and by this stage I just had enough. I think I can't explain it to you guys to know 100%, but I just felt like my brain was just being poisoned. I just felt fucking horrible. I just wake up in the morning and my head would just feel like utter poison. I felt horrible, negative thoughts going through my mind every second. I felt suicidal, you know, and then, you know, I had the brain zaps coming back as well, and I just said to myself, I said to my mum, hey mum, I need to come off this stuff, because I don't think I'm going to be around much longer, you know. I'd also developed some manic depression, so manic episodes, and a bit of psychosis as well, you know. One of the side effects of these drugs is psychosis. Is a possible side effect where you just lose your fucking mind, you don't know who you are. And I lost my mind. You know, I had to come off these drugs ASAP, start the process. So again, saw the doctor, come off in 4 weeks. No, sorry buddy, I'm not going to kill myself. The thing that really I find incredible is these doctors and psychiatrists, indoctrinated idiots. I'm sorry, anyone out there who's a doctor or whatever, you guys really need to learn. You need to learn the process of taking the people off these drugs, because you have no idea, you know, you have no idea the damage these drugs do to people. You know, when you're at med school, all you learn is through Big Pharma. Big Pharma feeds you bullshit, you listen to it, indoctrinates your brain, you know. You need to learn the art of tapering and doing it slowly. It's not You know, it's not right putting people in drugs and not knowing how to take them off properly. You know, it's just ridiculous. Makes me really angry. Sorry for blab on too much, but I had to do my own research. So I did a lot of research and I found surviving antidepressants. And what they recommended was the method of a 10% drop per month. So roughly, yeah, I thought that would be okay. And I had to phone around as well because my doctor didn't even know. He didn't even know that I could get liquid, a compounded solution. He didn't even know it. Unbelievable. So I had to ring up the pharmacist, get a liquid bottle made up of the drug, got a syringe here, and we started the process. Would have been a year ago. So now I'm sitting at, it's been tough, guys. It's been bloody hard coming off this drug. I struggle every day still, and I know it's going to take me a long time to get off this drug, but hey, you know, we're getting there. You know, Rome wasn't built in a day, and I'm slowly but surely getting my life back again, you know. But yeah, you know, anyone that's coming off this drug, especially Effexor, you know, if you can get the, you know, the compounded bottle, probably be the best way to come off in terms of doing it slowly as well. So again, I'll go back to, you know, I think it was 10%. 10% I was told to, you know, that would be a good place to start. I decided to go 5%, and that was too much for me. It was way too much for me. Knocked the shit out of me. So I did 3 5% drops over 5 to 6 weeks, and I couldn't handle that anymore. Then I tried a 3% drop, still a bit rough. Then I tried a 2% drop. So 2% I drop every 4 weeks. So so far I'm down to 32%, and yeah, I'm just taking it day by day, guys, and you know, I'd like to do some videos, you know, the things that have done to help me, you know, through, you know, I've got nutrition, through exercise, through meditation, through yoga. You know, there's so many things you can do to help yourself get off these foul poisons. And you know, the medical establishment, to me, doctors and psychiatrists, regarding this topic, are just hopeless. Psychiatrists are pathetic. You know, I've seen a few people here, I watch their videos, and obviously I don't think they've taken these drugs for very long. You know, they're recommending you go see a psychiatrist. No, I wouldn't do that at all. You know, I'd recommend that you do the work. You know, you feel, you know, from your heart, you do the work, you do the research, and you find other people who've done this withdrawal, because, you know, anyone can talk the talk, but you got to walk the walk. So, you know, anyone who's done this and succeeded or is in the process of doing it, listen to them. You know, find out how they're going, and yeah, surviving antidepressants is a great place to start as well, because it's coming from someone who's experienced coming off these drugs, and you know, and knows how to withdraw safely and effectively over a long time. So I hope I didn't blab on too much, guys, but thanks for watching, and as I continue my journey, I'll do updates, and yeah, just keep the ball rolling, and I love to help as many people as possible. That's all I aim to do. Cheers, guys. Thank you. Peace out. Bye.